What does it mean to be authentic? What does authenticity mean? Why is it important to be yourself and not someone else? All of these questions will be answered in this video. Hey, entre leaders. My name is Dr. Charity C. Campbell, and authenticity can mean a lot of different things depending on who you ask. You might have heard that being authentic is a really important thing in life, but what does it actually mean? And so I am going to show you exactly how you can be authentic and live a happier life with 3 core components that make up your personal brand of authenticity. And if you are watching live, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. If you are watching the replay, I love you just as much, and I appreciate you taking time out of your leisure time to come and to watch. Of course, if you're watching live, please make sure that you drop a comment in the sections below, whether on Facebook or Twitter or or not Instagram, but YouTube, so I can acknowledge that you are here by showcasing your comments if you are here. So go ahead and do that, and I will make sure that I bring you up on the screen and share your nuggets of truth with us, okay? So one thing that I do want to say, for those of you who are new to me and to my channel, I am a world-class millennial global leader, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, an academic professional, international speaker, mentor, and digital organization development and leadership specialist. I help millennial multi-passionate entre leaders go from clutter to clarity, improve communication skills, and harness their greatest potential without losing balance. And one of the ways that I do that is every Monday, my time. I live in China, so if you're watching back in the States, it's Sunday evening for you. But once a week, in the beginning of the week, I come and I try to bring as much inspiration and motivation as I possibly can to help you jumpstart your week and to carry you on all throughout the week, because life can happen, challenges come, different things that can come and change our mood or maybe change our insight or our hopes about something that we're really, really looking forward to. Anything could happen, but what you do or how you respond to what happens will determine your success and your outcome. So today, as I said, we are talking about authenticity, and I see a comment here. I love it. If you're a part of the DrCharityTV fam, which is my community, I want to say thank you so much. Go ahead, like I said, drop a comment so I can showcase you up here. We have Ashley Jones. Hey, Dr. C3. Oh my God, I hate that. You must be talking to Alicia. Alicia been telling you to say that. Hey, Dr. C3. I must need to hear this. I've been waiting on this today. Oh, I'm so happy to hear you. Sheila Perry, that's back from Periscope days. Hey, beautiful. She says, hey, Dr. Charity, how are you, sweetheart? Listen, here's my question to you. And you can just answer with a yes or no in the comment section, okay? Whether on live or the replay. Do you ever feel like you're not living up to your potential? Do you feel like you're pretending to be someone you're not? Being authentic means living life according to your own values and beliefs, even if that sometimes means you may be going against the grain. So let's talk about the 3 ways to become more authentic in order to live a more fulfilling life. Okay. Now, Ashley saying it's frozen, or is it just me? Please let me know in the comment section if you can see me, if there's no issue. Hello there, LaShante. Please let me know if you all can see me or if it's frozen, okay? But so let's continue on with the live, okay? So for those of you who are new to me, did I get Shantae? She said, hey, sis. All right. For those of you who are new to me, please be advised that I am a kingdom believer and an entre leader. So most times I employ scriptures and quotes of positivity on my live streams. And so with that said, let's read the scripture for today, which is coming from the Passion Translation. And let me see, she She said, honey, I just lost my job on Friday. I definitely need to hear this today. The answer to your question, yes. Well, prayerfully, sis, we are going to answer this for you on today. So let's take a look at the word. Our scripture is coming from the Passion Translation of 1 Corinthians 9 and 20. 1 Corinthians 9 and 20. And it reads, I became Jewish to the Jewish people in order to win them to the Messiah. I became like one under the law to gain the people who were stuck under the law, even though I myself am not under the law. So this is the Apostle Paul, right? This is the Apostle Paul talking about him being all things to all people. Okay, that's the KJV version of it. Okay, he's talking about, I was all things to all people. He said, I became Jewish to the Jewish people in order to win them to Christ. And I became like one under the law to gain the people under the law, even though I myself was not under the law. Now, I know some Bible scholars, they can look at the scripture and they may have, their own perspectives about it. They may have their own points of view saying, oh, well, if Paul was being truly genuine, okay, or they're saying, well, Paul said that he had to be this way so that he could win people over to Christ. Now, of course, there are some who say, of course, we're called to not be of this world. So in order to reach out to the rest of the world, like we just need to be hardcore Christian, even if that can mean being like judgmental or whatever it is. Now, however you take this scripture, okay, however you take the scripture and its meaning to you, I'm talking about its meaning to me regarding authenticity. Because we're talking about being authentic to ourselves today. Okay. How do you be authentic to yourself? What does authenticity mean? So in this scripture, we're talking about Paul saying, listen, I didn't have to necessarily change who I was as a person so that I could reach out to them. But I did have to find some way to relate to them. And many times on our jobs, in our careers, when we're starting a new business, sometimes we get a little lost. Okay, am I the only one? If that's you, drop a comment, let me know. Sometimes we get a little lost because we're trying to find our voice. We're trying to find, especially if you haven't had brand clarity, if you haven't sat down and worked out who your target market is, what your voice is, what your values are. If you haven't worked all of those things out, and you're looking at social media, you are thinking, okay, well, how do I find that? Who am I supposed to be? Or should I be like this person, or should I try this type of, this tactic, this strategy, or whatever? So it can be daunting at times because we live in a world that is saturated. Okay. It is so saturated with personalities and all these things. And to be honest with you, you gotta be careful because everything you see on social media, even if people say that this is how they are, sometimes it's not. It's just a front. Okay. Sometimes it is really not. It's just a front. It's just, them saying that this is what they want people to see. But so how can we be authentic with ourselves without losing who we are at our core and our foundation when we are trying to, reach clients, or when we are trying to do our best for our job, or fulfill whatever task or project that our managers or supervisors are asking us to be? What about when we go into a new work setting? Okay, when we go into a new work setting, or we're creating something, or we're getting around a new group of people, a new group of influencers, and these are a network of people who can help us and we can contribute to them. How do you stay true to who you are? Okay. And the first thing you have to do is, number one, before I tell you one of the first things you have to do, let me tell you a quote that Tony Robbins said. Okay. Tony Robbins said that the strongest force in the universe is a human being living consistently with his identity. Living consistently with his identity. That means who you are at your foundation, that does not change. The Apostle Paul, at his foundation, he was an evangelist. He was an apostle. He was the man who God sent on this mission to carry the gospel, to carry the word. And so who he was at his foundation was consistent. Okay. Does everyone understand that? Who he was at his foundation was consistent. He didn't change his beliefs in order to he didn't change his beliefs in order to get the attention of someone. He didn't change his beliefs in order to become friends with someone. He didn't change his belief in order to increase his circle of influence. He didn't change his foundation. Okay, he didn't change his foundation, but he did find areas where he could relate to the people. He could relate to his target audience. Okay, he could relate to his target audience so that he would capture their attention. Now, with what Brother Tony Robbins is saying is that when you know who you are, okay, when you know who you are and you live with your truth, you live with who you are truly at your foundation, that is where your strength comes from. Your strength doesn't come from trying to be like someone else. Your strength doesn't come from trying to dumb yourself down so that you won't shine as much as others. Your strength won't come from trying to take someone else's shine either. Okay? When you live your truth, when you live out your foundation, when you are authentic with yourself, okay, that is when you are going to find your strength and you're going to find your power spot. So the question is then, well, how do I become authentic, or how do I really be more authentic? And in order to be successful in life, you need a strong sense of self. You must know your goals and your values so that you can live them with discipline while still working towards your goals. So the first thing you have to do is define who you are. You have to say, who am I? What makes me unique? Okay, who am I? What makes me unique? Because if you're trying to be like someone else, especially in this day and age where social media is prevalent everywhere around us, you have to ask yourself, how do I define myself? How do I become me when there's always someone else telling me who they think that I'm supposed to be or what I'm supposed to represent or look like on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, okay, on Pinterest? How do I discover who I am? Who am I supposed to be? Well, the first step starts internally. And if you want me to tell you how that is, go ahead and drop in the comment section below. Tell me. Drop in the comment section below. Tell me. And while you're at it, do me a favor, especially if you are on YouTube, go ahead and please like this video, subscribe so that you don't miss any videos, any of our Mondays together, and then also hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted and notified when there's a new video. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and share this video. Don't be stingy, y'all. Now, I appreciate y'all wanting to keep me all to yourself, but don't be stingy. Go ahead and hit that share button because you never know who may be lost at this moment. At any step in their business, at any step in their career, they're trying to figure things out, trying to find out who they are, and they may need this. So go ahead, hit that button for me, share, 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 and let's keep going. All right, good. We got tell me's over here. We got some tell me's over here. All right, excellent. I'm trying to get the other one. There we go. Good. Okay. So the first thing that you should do is take some time every single night. Now, for you right now, it is evening time, right? It's nighttime. So for you, what you should do is ask yourself questions like, what am I passionate about? Now, if you're like me and you're in China or somewhere in Asia or somewhere else where it's not evening time, you can do this at any time during the day, right? But for those of my Americans who it's the evening time, take some time tonight. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What am I passionate about? And this is a question that I had to ask myself 3 years ago. Who do I want to be? Because no matter how much success you have, you can go from, of course, we always know we go from faith to faith and glory to glory. Okay. We go from one level to the next level. Who we are in one season is not who we will be in the next. Okay. That's just the science of growth. Okay. So you ask yourself, who do I want to be in 3 years? Who do I want to be in 5 years? Who do I want to be in 10, 20 years? Think about who you want to be and what does he or she like to do. Okay. What does he or she like to do? So you ask yourself, who do I want to be? And why do I matter to society at large? Why do I matter? Okay. What am I passionate about? Now, this means it could be something you're passionate about today. Okay. Or if you're thinking about who you're going to be in the future, who is that person? What is he or she passionate about in the future? So you want to ask yourself those questions. Who am I? What am I passionate about? Who do I want to be? Because sometimes one of the toughest questions to ask ourselves is, who am I? Who am I? Because you might start defining yourself by what you do. And what you do is not who you are. Okay? Keep that in mind. What you do is not who you are. Somebody watching this right now, you have a six-figure business idea. But right now you might be a cashier. And so you say, well, I'm just a cashier at blah, blah, blah. But that's not who you are. That is what you do. That's your job title. That's what you do for now in this season of your life to help you get by and to do what you need to do to move forward to becoming the person you want to become. But that is not who you are. So make sure the first step, again, like I said, you have to do the work internally and ask yourself those questions. What am I passionate about? Who do I want to be? Okay, who do I want to be? What does he or she like to do? And why do I matter to society at large? Okay. Now, for those of you who are taking notes, it'd be great if you want to go ahead and drop those in the comment section for me. I can put your comment up there. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, go ahead and drop that in there. Okay. Those 4 questions. Again, I'll say them again. First one is, what am I passionate about? What am I passionate about? The second one is, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And then the third one, is, I lost my train of thought. Wait, is who do I want to be? What does he or she like to do? Okay. What does he or she like to do? And then the last one is, why do I matter to society at large? Okay. Why do I matter to society at large? My brother from another mother up here says, we lose authenticity when we conform. Yes. Absolutely. It's important to remember who we are and not everybody else wants, and not who everybody else wants us to be. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And so one of the ways that you can do this, let me go back to my notes here. Y'all know I'm over here trying to rock with y'all with the notes. Okay. The second thing that you can do is do what makes you happy and fulfilled. And just like my brother from another mother, David, just said, okay, I am David Lamar. He just said, don't worry about what others think. Do you and be happy. Okay. Do you and be happy. You have to live your life in a way that makes you happy and fulfilled. Do things that, just for pure joy, even if they seem crazy or impossible at first, but just do the things that make you happy. Now, some of you may be asking, well, how do I discover what makes me happy? Okay. Thank you. So I knew somebody was going to write that down there. Thank you so much. So someone may be asking, well, how can I discover what makes me happy? One of the things that you can do is, well, first of all, you must understand your own personality. Your personality is unique, honey. Your personality is unique. That means your personality differs from someone else. And if you happen to find yourself being one of those people to where you lose your personality when you get around a crowd of people, or when you get around a group of people or someone else, and you start developing what we call groupthink. Okay, what we call groupthink, meaning you don't have your own ideas. You don't have your own sense of individuality. Then that's an issue. That's a problem. Right? That's an issue and a problem. So one way you can do this to understand your personality or to find out what makes you happy. One thing you can do is, somebody who you trust. It may not always be family members. It could be a mentor. It could be a pastor. It could be a leader or a supervisor. It could be anyone who knows you well enough. Ask them, what do they think makes you happy and fulfilled? Okay. Now, and I know I started off this way by saying, don't care about what others think. But what I mean by that, I feel like there's two groups of others. Okay, there's two groups of others, all right? So the two groups of others here, there's the others who like you respect, you love, you appreciate their input. They're on a higher level. So when they see you, it's not like they're looking down on you, but they're like covering you. They're watching over you. They're invested in your growth and development. Those are the others who you might want to pay some attention to what they think or what they say, but not too much invested. Like if it's negative, it's like what I've said a couple of times. You take the positive and you weed out the negative, because sometimes those who we look up to, especially, I hate to say this, but especially our spiritual leaders, depending on what they may have going on in their own personal lives, it could filter through and come out negatively in feedback. Now, I'm not saying that these leaders or even the supervisor, your supervisor could be having a bad day. Okay, because they're human too. They could be having a bad day, and they could come into the office and they could give you feedback. It's time for your review. They can give you feedback, and the feedback is just administered a little harshly, not because it's supposed to be a direct attack to you, but it could be they've been dealing with a lot of stuff at home. So maybe the way that they release that, that they release that type of anger. And I'm not saying that it's right, but it could be during that feedback session, especially if they're agitated about something that they ask you to do over and over and over again, but it's still not done the right way. It could be something like that, right? So the thing is that's one tier of others. The other tier is just those who are on the same, maybe they're on the same level as you are, or they're just, maybe they're like your peers, or they might not be on the same level. They could be under your level, right? They could be, whatever. And they're giving you feedback. Well, I think you should do this and do that. Well, nobody asked you though. I appreciate it, but I didn't. It's unsolicited. Nobody asked you what your opinion was of it, because your opinions don't qualify for this level of feedback. You feel me? Like your opinions don't qualify to give me this level of feedback. So when I say don't care about the opinions of others, I'm talking about that tier. I'm talking about that tier. But when we're talking about this tier, the ones who can, they are invested in your development, whether it's spiritual, physical, financial, or whatever. Those are the ones that you do want to take into consideration. So again, that first way is to ask others who know and love the real you, who are, they have a vested interest in your growth. Ask them, hey, what do you think, makes me happy? What do you think makes me happy? Like when I'm at work, something that I'm really good at, that can you tell? And if they can't tell, then say, okay, thank you. I appreciate your honesty. But let them know, if I'm asking you a question, don't feel like you have to create an answer, because I'm only looking for honesty here. Feel me? Okay. So he said, your opinions don't qualify for the level of feedback that I need. Listen, that is the nice, nasty way of saying you don't like whatever you're trying to say. It don't matter. That's the nice, nasty way. That's the most, that's the most professional way to say, that's the most professional way to say how we used to say back in the day, talk to the hand. Like that's real old school, right? Okay, so the second thing that you can do is, and this is actually one of the ones that I do intermittently. I've been doing this for years, and it's really helped me a lot. Use tools like diaries or journals where you can meticulously write down every moment that brings pleasure into being successful at achieving a particular a goal, despite any personal setbacks experienced along the journey. You can also, like for me, one of the things that I have done is in my journals, y'all, if I showed you how many journals I have, y'all would judge me. Okay, so I'm just gonna say y'all would judge me, but that's why I'm not going to show you my journals. These journals that I have, they're for different stages and periods in my life. Like every time I've taken out one of these journals and written in them, before I moved directly like all to my iPad, is because now I do electronic journaling, but they document. I have one journal that is, I'm looking at my journals right now. Like I'm looking at my journals right now, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 journals. I have 8 visible journals in my office right now, which is ridiculous to me. But I have these journals, and each one of them chronicles a specific time in my life. My red journal is all from my doctoral program. Y'all, I graduated from my doctoral program in 2016, yet I still have that journal. I still have that journal, and I go through and I read some of the things, Lord have mercy. I read some of this stuff and I'm just like, wow. I have a journal from when I was in a ministers in training program. Y'all, I pulled that thing out maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And let me tell you, this is why God has blessed me to be the leader that I am today. Some of the stuff that I read in this journal, some of the stuff that I wrote that happened to me in this journal that I took as a leader in training. Oh my gosh, y'all, it was like the Lord saying, see, this is why you're qualified to talk about leadership in this way, because of what you endured as a leader then. Oh my God, crazy stuff. Open rebuke, and still showing up and serving. When I tell you, when I come to you, please hear my heart. When I come to you and I'm talking to you about leadership, I'm talking to you about transformational change, when I'm talking to you about how to treat your clients, how to treat your co-workers, how to treat your employees, please understand, I'm not just searching for stuff on Google to talk about and then talking to you. No, I am coming from those journals. I am coming from situations that have happened in my life that tore me down internally so that God could build me up externally now. I didn't understand it at the time, but those were my qualifying seasons to be able to come to you today. And so when I tell you I have journals upon journals, literally they're stacked right now. I'm looking at them. I have journals upon journals for each season of my life, helping me to understand who I am. Okay. Excuse me. Helping me to understand who I am, like who I was to who I have become. And I still journal to this day. I journal to this day because think about the question I asked, who do you want to be? I journal because who she will be in the future, who I will be in the future, she's going to come back and read the journals of today about me taking huge leaps of faith. And she's going to be like, girl, listen, you didn't know you was going to be making this. You didn't know you was going to be here. You didn't know you was going to be doing all of those things. You had no idea that these things would be happening in your life when you decided to journal about this stuff. So yeah, make sure you journal. And then guess what, y'all? Sometimes journals, exactly, it wows me to read past journals. Let me tell you, sometimes journals can help you create products. Like you start thinking about, man, what was I going through during this time in this period? Oh man, I have overcome that. Now I can help someone else out. Think about that. Now I can help somebody. Some of these journal entries that you have, you can turn them into devotionals. I worked with an artist a few years ago, super talented young woman. Worked with her. She had, from her own personal experiences, she had journals. She had just journal entries, diaries. She had songs in her. And I'm like, baby, we need to produce something with this. We need to take a quarter and produce with this. Push until you produce. And when I tell you, when you take talent and you just invest in that talent, your pain is used for someone else. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of the work that she did. She created a devotional. She created an album single. I mean, like, think about what you have to bring to the table. Your pain is valuable. Oh, somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear that. Type that in the comment section. Type that in the comment section, please. Whether you're live or watching the replay, your pain is valuable. From, you started from somewhere. You started from somewhere in the process of pain, and then you endured, and you've gotten to where you are today. Let me tell you that your pain can be used to help someone else out in this season of their life. So when you're talking about being authentic, you can't help someone else in their season of pain if you're not being authentic about yours. And the thing is, that's when you can tell that you are at least going through the healing process, is when you can talk about it. Some people say you can't, you're not really healed if you can't talk about it without crying. But I say that that's not the truth. I say that you can actually, as you're going through the healing process, if you're still talking about it and you end up crying, then that's perfectly fine. I say that, I put emphasis on the fact that I say, because we're not talking about what society say. I say that if you can talk about it, even if you end up crying, it doesn't mean that you're not healed. It means, it could mean that, sometimes here's when you know that you are healed. You can talk about it. You may even cry about it, but you won't lose sleep over it. You won't feel like you're broken because of it. Like you may have been broken before, but the healing process takes place and you're able to move forward. So your pain is so valuable. But if you're not authentic about what that was like, if you're not true to yourself, then how are you going to use it? How are you going to use it? Because you're not going to be able to use it. Okay. So the third thing you can do, and this one I feel like we do by default, okay, is keep a photo journal or go back and look through your photos on social media of when you were truly your happiest. Ask yourself these questions. What caused this happiness? How did I feel? And what were the circumstances at that time that were contributing to my happiness? Okay, so ask yourself those questions, like what caused this happiness? How did I feel at that time? And what were the circumstances that were surrounding that type of happiness, like that level of happiness? You got to ask yourself those questions. So looking back at photos, and if your happiness is tied or connected to a person or to people where maybe they're no longer in your life, they're no longer in your life, or maybe you were at a job or organization, or it was at a company where you were on a retreat and you were like, oh my God, this is the life. And maybe you no longer work there. Maybe you no longer have connections there. Don't let looking back cause you to look down. Okay, let me say that again, because that came by so fast. let me say that again, because that came by so fast. Okay, don't let looking back make you look down, like cause you to look down. And when I say look down, that means look down on yourself. When you look back at those photos, think about the things that brought you happiness in that season without letting it like tear you apart. Now, if there is something on the inside of you that, brings up some type of negative feeling like unforgiveness or resentment or sorrow or depression or, regret, then that is when you should ask the Lord to help you. Say, God, I don't know what this is or why I feel this way, but please help me to understand why I'm feeling this way when I look at these photos. Why am I okay? Because it happens. Trust me, it happens. Okay. All right. So I have one more thing for you. And listen, if this is good to you, can you let me know? Can you let me know, one, by sharing again? Share again. Or hit an emoji, hit a like, thumbs up, love, heart, whatever. Or also just tell me in the comments, say, I'm loving this, or I'm getting value out of this, or whatever it is. Because I have one more tip to tell you. The third thing, which I've kind of been saying throughout this time, is be true to yourself, not someone else's idea of who you should be. Okay? Be true to yourself, not someone else's idea of who you should be. So the question is, how do you define authenticity? How does it differ from what other people may say, from what society may say? What does authenticity mean to you? How do you define it? Okay? How do you define it? What does it mean to you? Good. How do you define authenticity? What does it mean to you? Because that's more important than what society tells you. That's more important than what you think you should be based on someone else's perception, based on someone else's definition. Okay. So when we're talking about being authentic, it means really finding your voice, not finding, not doing it based off of who someone else says you should be. Now, let me tell you, because if you are in a season where you have great godly counsel, y'all know I'm always going to bring Jesus back up in this, huh? That's who I am. I'm true to myself. Okay. I was teaching in a business seminar this past weekend. And, I started all off with good business and stuff. And then I was like, well, first of all, let me just go ahead and tell you, y'all going to get some Jesus today. Okay. I may not come out and say his name every single time, but just please understand that what flows from out of this here vessel is all from the Lord. Okay. It's from my personal time with him. Why? Because that's my truth. That's my authentic self. So when you are true to yourself, your truth comes out in what you say. Your truth comes out in how you look. Your truth comes out in the work you produce. Honey, when you are authentic, it's shown. It is shown. Your authenticity shines. Okay, it shines. And so the thing is, unless you are under divine counsel, because I am so grateful. Let me just tell you, I am so grateful for the season of my life when I was, especially back in the States prior to moving to China. I appreciate the season of my life when I was under divine counsel. That divine counsel has helped shape and mold me into the woman you tune into every single week. Okay. Whether you watch the podcast, which this week you want to, trust me on that. You want to make sure that you tune into the podcast this week because, honey, you talking about some truth? Okay. But you tune in, every single week. You're a part of my DrCharityTV fam. You're a part of my community. That leadership, that wise counsel from my spiritual leaders, from my dissertation chair, from my mentors back in my doctoral program, even my teachers going all the way back to like third grade. Okay. I still remember my teacher back in third grade. And let me tell you, that was a bad mama jamma right there. Okay. Those people have helped shape the woman that I have become. So those type of voices, those type of opinions, and I believe that they had at that season in their lives when I was in their life, okay, they were there for me. They were there for me. They were there to help shape me and mold me and guide me because I needed a whole lot of shaping and I needed a whole lot of molding so that I could learn who my authentic self truly was. My question to you is, what are you going to do to discover your authenticity? I've already shared with you 3 tips, 3 keys, and 3 ways to discover, to define authenticity. But my thing is, I want you to make sure that you know how to define who you are. Because knowing who you are is the first step in being real and authentic. Who you are, because you're not going to try to be like somebody else. Trying to be a carbon copy of someone else is just really, really, really discouraging. It's draining. It's tiring because you're too busy copying instead of creating. I want to encourage you to not copy. Don't copy from someone else. Go and create. What does that mean? Create what? Create the you who you want to be. If you are in the creation phase of discovering who you really are, the good thing is you get to take who you were and use that as a foundation. You get to take who you were before right now, use that as a foundation and build upon that for who you want to be. That foundation has creaks and crevices and cracks and hits and all of that stuff because those were your flaws. Take that. Give me a moment. I've been up since early. Take that and use it to your ability. Take that foundation and build on it. Because I'm telling you, what you build on that foundation, if you are authentic to who you truly are, man, what comes out of that is going to be so helpful to so many people, more than what you could imagine. So today, I challenge you to define authenticity, discover who you are. Okay, what makes you happy, huh? What makes you happy, not what makes you happy by doing what someone else is doing. Okay, not what, being like being what someone else's idea of you is, which makes them happy, makes you happy. No, no, no. This is about you today. This is about you today. It's not about what society tells you. It's not about who you think you should be based off of someone else's impression of you. No, it's about discovering who you truly are. Because when you are real with yourself, then you can be real with the world. And the world in turn will receive you as you are, instead of having these unmet expectations because they thought you were someone else. No, no. This is who I am. This is how I'll be. And as I continue to grow, if you grow with me, then you'll continue to see how I evolve, who I evolve into. So listen, I invite you to connect with me on social media. One, if you are tired of having these really great, lucrative ideas, but maybe you have difficulty from going from concept to creation, or maybe you're just the type of person where you want to harness the power of the leader within by becoming more confident, or maybe you just want to become a better communicator in your field, or for your relationships, whether professional or personal. Every week, you will find encouragement to fuel your flames as you go after your goals. Oh, and in case you need a little heat, a little extra heat applied, then check out my Let's Talk series playlist on YouTube. You can check out all the videos that we've done since we started this in 2020. I started this in 2020. Wow. I started this in the fourth quarter of 2020. But you can check out the Let's Talk series on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me see what comments we have over here. When you are real with yourself, then you can be real with the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have any final comments, go ahead and drop them in there. I will have a mention. Getting ready to head to YouTube now. Yes, YouTube is my home. That's my little home where I reside. Okay. So yes, make sure you go and check me out on YouTube. It is Dr. Charity TV. And I will see you guys next week.